everybody, for everyone's favorite podcast about Gemini movies. It's Gemini Movies, the movie podcast. I'm your host, Alice. And?
Mila kann fliegen wie die Sonne über Fujiyama. That's the German Mila Superstar intro. It's very beautiful. I'm Ludovico. I'm here, as always, with Alice to talk about them movies. And we had two, as always.
Yeah,
we could have had four, but that's against our podcast policy.
Actually, five, Ludo, five.
Yeah, there's like five, but we just took the main two ones on the list.
Yeah, we're talking about Deep Star 6 and The Abyss. But
no.
Not The Abyss, Leviathan. We're talking about Deep Star 6 and Leviathan.
I think neither of us had seen The Abyss, right?
It's 3 hours long. And
yeah.
James Cameron. Anyway,
we're gonna talk about James Cameron either way, I think.
Yeah. But it's for later. As always, as listeners know, before we talk about the movies, we do a little thing recapping our what we've been doing this month, and that's just like then we pick a thing and so and tell. Just talk about the thing we like or we consuming. So Ludo, start.
Okay, today is a choose your own adventure segment where Alice chooses what I talk about. Because I didn't have any like hyper focus interest this month, but I did have events that went down. So you could choose between these tall tales, the punk concert, or the quest to get my bed into my bedroom, my new one.
Okay, the bed. I need to know about the fucking bed.
Okay, so I ordered a bed like with my mother 2 months ago. It's like it has springs in it. It's like some kind of modern weird bed. It has a really big bed frame. Mm-hmm. And I wasn't sure if I get it up my stairs, but I took the risk. Mm-hmm. So when they arrived to deliver the bed 2 months later, it didn't fit through the hallway to bring it up the stairs, right? It wasn't. It was too big. Mm-hmm. So my alternative was to either talk with the construction workers next to me and see if like we could use wait, I have to look up what's the name for this in English. A pulley. They had a pulley next to my window, the construction workers. Mm-hmm. So maybe they could like pull up the frigging bed and put it through my window, right? Yeah. Or I could like get a crane. I could order a crane to come here and put it through my window. Either way, it's gonna get expensive, right?
Yeah.
So then I ordered the crane because I couldn't get through to the person responsible for the construction site. Mm-hmm. First day, I think 2 weeks ago, the crane comes in, or maybe it was in last week. And they can't use the crane because there's like a wire of a lamp on a street lamp. There's like a wire in the way. They can't even do it with the crane, right? Mm-hmm. So the crane goes away again. I still don't have my bed in there. And then I finally managed to get the construction worker, the Baumeister, the guy who's responsible for the like construction of that company on the phone, and I'm like, yeah, hey, if you could give me 2 guys to like help me with this bed, I will give you $100. I'm pretty sure I just admitted to a crime here, but that's good.
This is like a 90s sitcom subplot for like an episode.
Yeah. And then we used the pulley and like a long rope to like fix up my bed and then pull it through into my window. It was like quite a story.
That's very that's very good, Ludo. I like that a lot. God, this is very good. Did the crane we pay you at least? The Queen people.
I didn't have to pay the crane. That's a good thing. They came here. They tried to also to like get the bed up the stairs because they didn't believe me that it wasn't possible. They thought, no, we know this shit better than you. And the last two guys who tried it, and they didn't manage either.
Okay, before I go to my thing, I have to ask, how was the bed?
The bed's pretty good. I like the bed.
What's the bed waiting system?
This is like 7.5 out of 10.
Very nice. Okay, my thing.
Yeah. It's not too soft, not too hard. You know, that's the ideal bed. Yeah, it makes no noise.
Yeah, sounds better than my bed, to be honest.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's go to my thing. So I haven't been doing a lot of things. This month has been mostly just a month of me waiting for some things to happen. So I haven't been doing a lot of things because I mean a lot of media because I've been just waiting for a couple of things, both in media stuff and other things. But I have been getting into some people I know I play Yu-Gi-Oh a lot. It's probably my favorite card game. I still like it a lot. It's not going to be about Yu-Gi-Oh because it has things now, but the meta from like a couple months ago was making me less interested in playing at least meta competitive. I still play a bit casually. I'm probably not return because the meta has things, but. Because of that, I've decided I've just been playing like a couple card games like the same card game for a bit, like Yu-Gi-Oh. So I decided to go and just download Magic Arena because I haven't played a lot of Magic the Gathering before, besides a couple games like the past. So I went, I downloaded it, and I started getting it into as a game, I have a lot of issues with Magic the Gathering, but overall, starting, I like it a lot. I'm so used to Yu-Gi-Oh, so having something a bit more slower is nice. Even if I have critiques about that, I think mana as a system is relentless, frankly. I hate having a hand of things that I cannot activate and just having to clumsily put 1 mana, 2 mana to activate them. But besides, it's very much frustrating coming in Yu-Gi-Oh with like there's resource costing, but like it's much more faster, so you can just put the master on someone in master without a lot of issues. But besides that, I've just been actually enjoying it. I like I've been playing a lot of my deck is black green using a card called Rodenstein that just every turn sends a card to the from the top of the deck to the graveyard, and does summons different tokens depending what type of card it is. So when doing that, like graveyard
reanimator and mill stuff is definitely funny.
Yeah, like I play a lot of mill stuff in Yu-Gi-Oh. That's a bit more overpowered because everything's very overpowered in Yu-Gi-Oh. So I've been doing the same thing with Magic, and it's been very funny. The deck's not good because Magic Arena's card system. I'll talk about this like a minute, but like Magic Arena's like microtransaction system is horrible. So I've been just playing a bunch of weird cards. I've been playing vampires. There's a lot of new vampire cards let you summon blood tokens, which can be used to give the vampires a bit extra abilities. So just like sacrifice 1 plus discard a card and draw a card. So like reanimate, discard, mill stuff, activate effects in the graveyard, also extra draw. We're also milling more stuff and discarding cards. It's been very fun. Now let's talk about a few things about Magic Arena's like microtransaction system, because holy shit, it's bad. It's very bad.
They want to get you hooked on that digital cardboard crack.
So first I think I told you about this a little before, but I need to explain this again. So Magic Arena, because there's technically two things, and Wizards of the Coast, being Wizards of the Coast, is very much like very scummy on this, because there's also Magic Online, which is technically the way to play legit Magic. I won't talk about Magic Online today, but like, so in Arena, what they did is, I think 3 years ago, they changed the formats because it's not using Magic formats, it's using like its own things. And they made a thing where they basically started like allotting cards and adding online only cards.
Yeah.
And how this ties to the microtransaction system is you can now there's certain formats you can use the cards like on their paper, and certain formats that you can only use the Yata cards. And they did a thing where like So there's a system of like basically card rarity. So like you have a rare card, non card, and everything, which activates as long as you buy packs of cards. You feel a wheel. So say you buy certain packs, you feel a wheel of like what are called wild cards wheel. And once you open like 5 packs, you get the wild card, which is basically the only way of really getting like free cards that microtransactions set in the game. By spending cards, you can spend one wild card of anywhere. You can spend a wild card of like you can spend a not common wild card on like a common card. You can craft it, but what happens here is to get the most rare type of wild cards, like like the most
rare or mythical.
Yeah, to get a mythical card, you need to open up only packs of the digital only things that wizards want you to get. So
So they're forcing you to buy specific packs to get those.
Yeah. There's technically also a digital currency, but to get the digital currency, you need to basically rack up a lot of like things in tournaments, and to spend money in tournaments. There's a different currency. There's like 3 different currencies.
Yeah, I can imagine like that they set it up to to make you waste as much money and time as possible.
So like here's the thing, I'm only currently like 100 of the money because I had to spend a bunch of money on opening up packs I did not open up, so I can get game pieces for the deck I'm building. It's a mess. The game is very fun. I think Magic is very interesting by looking up in Yu-Gi-Oh! Because I think Magic, like any card game of the big like card games of like Yu-Gi-Oh!, Magic, Pokemon, for the critiques and everything, they're very interesting. I like playing Magic a lot. I've been enjoying the differences of like just playing a lot of Yu-Gi-Oh! But like the microtransaction system is genuinely nightmarish, even for microtransaction system. It's just like it's still Wizard of the Coast product. It's still fucking.
We should both get Cockatrice and just play Commander.
Yes, honestly. Time to get Magic Online, Ludo. It's only €4 a month.
No, I want to get Cockatrice. That's basically the bootleg Magic Online where you play for free.
Okay, that's a good thing. I'm gonna end this very quick, but quick thing about Magic Online. I still don't think about it, but I just found out while looking at it that if you don't pay the €4 per month thing, you can technically still get a free account. But if you don't pay it in like a period of 3 days, they will just close the account and get your name again. And that's like, thank you, Wizards, thank you.
Yeah, you either invest or you go away.
In Yu-Gi-Oh!, there's 4 different like bootleg like game playing things, and they're all actually pretty decent. They're like,
maybe there's something better now than Cockatrice. I don't know actually.
Anyway, that was Magic. Very fun game. Nightmare of capitalism and microtransactions, but that's life, baby. Let's go to movies.
Okay, now let's talk about underwater action adventure horror movies, which for some reason there were extremely many in 1989.
Yeah, and like there's not really explanation, but like I guess we'll just set like always like before backstory, we're gonna say which movie, what we talked about the movies. I liked both movies. I think they're pretty decent movies, not a lot to say. They're kind of both like, well, at least Leviathan is more just an alien clone than the other one. Like they're both kind of riffing on aliens and old sci-fi stuff, and like I think both are decent at doing that. I like both. Deep Star 6 is a bit weaker, but it's still enjoyable. Like there's worse things you can watch. I think they're both fun movies.
I think I like Leviathan a little bit more, but that's mostly down to like the set design and some like more prolific actors, and like the tone is a bit different. But overall, both of them are very like watchable and enjoyable. They're not bad movies in any sense. It's like it's not one of those situations where I like hate one of the two movies.
It's pretty fun. It's like both movies are good in like their own ways, and like they're decent experiences to like enjoy if you like old horror or like stuff like that.
If you like this kind of like 80s, 90s adventure horror story that has like a bit of like, I don't know, alien in it, or like just a mix of like science fiction and action and some like surprise gore. That's very much, these two are very much that kind of movie. Which brings us to the like historical context, because like when we were watching these two movies, right? We were talking about how this kind of movie just kind of doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah, like at least if you look like in Hollywood, you don't see a lot of like the adventure horror genre really basically died. It's kind of it's morphed into several different things. Like in the 2000s, you had stuff like the Mummy and stuff thing and other things. But besides of that, there's not really like a mainstream, at least in like American English speaking stuff, like adventure horror thing. It's much more even like a lot of horror movies being produced right now. It's like in Hollywood and stuff like that. You don't really see things like this thing.
Yeah, I guess the closest is like the creature feature stuff, a la like King Kong, the Skull Island and the new Godzilla movies by the
Yeah,
what's the
by
studio?
Legacy. I think it's Legacy.
Legacy,
It's
yeah.
the same people as Skull Island and stuff like that.
Yeah, I think that's the closest you get nowadays, I think. Because these two movies are also like a bit creature features.
Yeah, and that's very much like like you don't really see specifically like this very both of us are going to bed this part like very sci-fi, like kind of old popey sci-fi thing.
Yeah,
That you,
especially with Deep Star 6, which really plays into that.
yeah, and both of course drawing from like aliens, like aliens of course and stuff like that, and to like sci-fi horror stuff like that.
Yeah, I wonder if it has to do with like the practical effects not being as big anymore.
Yeah.
Look, like it was more since we have CGI, we can just render any creature we want, so it's not as impressive anymore to see like a monster on screen.
Yeah, it's interesting because not just aliens, because like you of course have like the one of the people that worked on the Thing worked on one of these movies, and you see a lot of the Thing, a lot of stuff like that. It just yeah, I think it's mostly because like CGI and stuff like that. There was like I remember there's like a Thing remake in the 2000s, but like no one cared about it that
Yeah.
much. So like I guess it's like a part of CGI, and now so you start seeing like genre work in Hollywood and stuff like that starts being much more directed to certain niches, like certain directors and stuff like that, and just we don't see a lot of it besides a couple things, you know.
I mean, in a way, the superhero movies are all genre stuff.
Yeah, and kind of just gave away a lot of that energy, like just moved away a lot of that production to superhero stuff.
Yeah, I think that's like the modern counterpart, because like both of these types of movie are very expensive to make, and like you need some famous actors to pull behind them to like get people in seats.
It's interesting. People often like to compare like superhero movies to westerns because like because back in the day they used to make a lot of westerns because they were very cheap to make. But besides the fact that superhero movies are not that cheap to make, that's actually pretty costly. Like see the million CGI series and Marvel. Actually, I think Marvel and stuff like that has much more because of its histories of superheroes have much more in common stuff like Leviathan and but like like that pulp sci-fi stuff. Because a
Yeah,
lot of
heavy on special effects, and then there's a lot of like set pieces and violence.
yeah, and just the history of like Superman, Green Lantern, and stuff like that is very pulp sci-fi. Like you put like just very like 30s, 40s sci-fi. Have like
Yeah.
guy gets powers. He flies. He's strong, super strong. He's Superman. But yeah, I think the
Sometimes guy gets powers and it goes good, and sometimes guy gets powers and it doesn't go well.
like the Hulk is very much like clearly like a Frankenstein wave and stuff like that. But actually, before we go, there's also stuff like that. Actually, but there's a part we're gonna talk about history also. But like, why do you think there were so many underwater movies? because all this like very underwater focus and stuff like that.
I wonder if James Cameron just said like, yeah, I'm gonna make an underwater horror movie, and then every studio was like, holy shit.
Because
like all the studios at the same time were like, damn, this guy made Aliens. We really have to copy this shit as fast as possible.
It's interesting because like Aliens is not, because there's two things. There's very much the history of water and horror, of course, because a lot of people have fears of the water for various reasons, of course. Even I that lives in like a country with a lot of seas is afraid of the water. So it's very easy to draw. Of course, you have stuff like Jaws, etc., etc. Piranha, that James Cameron related the sequel. It's very easy to draw horror from the sea, specifically the ocean, because it's like unknown and stuff like that. But also there's like a part of like, even in Aliens, it feels very sea-like. You understand me? Like it's the space, but the space is the metaphor.
Yeah. I said that when we watched them, but like a spaceship and an underwater base are basically the same thing because you're trapped in there and it's claustrophobic.
Yeah,
and like you die if your like sea base or your spaceship gets destroyed or you fall out of it.
I cannot really pinpoint because I did some research and I cannot find like people saying, yeah, this is how to destroy and etc. etc. But I do think like sci-fi and horror have a history with the sea. Okay, any fiction has relationship with the sea, but like with science fiction, like horror and stuff like that, it plays along with ideas, myths about the sea and how our relationship with that, and specifically the stuff like and of course stuff like Aliens play the imagery, because the idea of metaphorizing space as the sea is also not it's a very old idea.
Yeah, it's pretty common, and like Lovecraft kind of does that all the time.
You can see that in like also in like a lot of like the most like bad things of like space colonization theater, because a lot of space colonization theater is drawing from like like actual colonization theater of like, let's colonize these islands and everything, like that that idea of like, let's just explore, like the old explorers that came like this very colonialist imperialist like baggers.
Yeah, I think people even have that like with the underwater, because that's like the last part of Earth we haven't fully like taken control over.
Yeah, like just a lot like it plays a lot in narratives of like a lot of narratives about because there's a lot of stories about like the sea fighting back, and a lot of them are very much like, oh no, the parts of things we haven't fully destroyed are coming back to attack us. And also, like, even James Cameron...
You literally just described that one German novel that was extremely popular. That's like a catastrophe novel where all the sea creatures are a hive mind that just fuck up humanity and cause, like, tsunamis.
That's so funny. I did not know about that. That's so funny. Like,
yeah, it's called The Swarm, I think.
And, even James Cameron made his very, very fucking bad sea movies. So, like, that too... It's bad. Yeah. Don't watch it. There's an actual boycott by native people about it. What's anything else? Fucking watch Leviathan.
Just pirate it if you really have to watch it.
Yeah. Anyway.
Like, it doesn't matter then. Or don't talk about it. Just don't tell anybody you watched it.
Please don't say it's saving cinema. Please don't say it's saving cinema, you fuckers. What's anything else?
Look, people will say any movie by a big director just saved cinema. That's just a curse.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anyway,
we need to move on.
The Cold War, very quickly. We need to go to the Cold War.
Yeah, we should talk about the Cold War, because both these movies, in their own way, like, do Cold War stuff.
Yeah.
Leviathan has the whole thing where they find a sunken vessel by the Russians, and then it has Evil the Thing virus in the vodka.
Yeah.
And that's how they all get, like, the Thingified.
Yeah.
And Deep Star 6 has basically an underwater nuke silo that the Americans, like, they live in there.
Yeah.
And they just nuke the ocean floor at some point. So, like, there wouldn't be an underwater nuke facility there from the Navy if there wasn't, like, a Cold War thing going on.
Yeah, and it's very interesting because this happened before, but like in the 80s you had like this paranoia about like, Russian Soviet submarines. It's very interesting because the Wikipedia page about this movie even mentions a non-horror movie. That's that Connery movie where he plays a Russian, that based on like a Tom Clancy novel. Weather
Oh.
Over, Weather Over.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Even mentions that, and that's kind of very interesting because a lot, not out of this movie, but a lot of them do have these things of like Russian submarines and like the Soviets. They're gonna
Yeah, yeah, yeah. The naval theme is like very strong when it comes to like Soviet fear of the Soviet Union, because like we even watched another movie where they find a sunken Soviet vessel and there's a virus. There's giant tardigrades on it, right?
Yeah, because it's always playing, of course, the Cold War was happening. It's playing this fear of like, oh no, the Soviets with their submarines, they're gonna go into Los Angeles and gonna take over.
And
the country.
apparently they can't stop doing experiments on sea.
Yeah.
Because like there's at least a dozen different stories that are all about like some kind of Soviet experiment going wrong on sea. It's just, it's such a weird specific paranoia. Like why would you do it on a boat in the first place?
Yeah, not to go into too much this, but like just very quickly, there's like a history of just making the Russians like mad scientists, like your fictional like Dr. Frankenstein types. It's like the scary communists, they're gonna summon the sea demon, like this kind of like just very frivolous like anti-communism to the point where it's just like making the enemy into this like scary like they have the technology, they're doing the evil things, which is playing like
and then the Soviet Union fell and all they had to sell off was like a bunch of Kalashnikovs. Like they didn't have any super secret weapon.
Like it's extremely very funny anti-communism. You can see it very now. Not to go into other things, but you can see it very much now with like the paranoia around the West so-called like Chinese balloon and shit. Just oh no, they're gonna take all us over. There's just always in the fucking corner, the enemy. So you see parts of this going to a lot of science fiction, horror, and stuff like that, and even prestige fiction. I think we explained enough. We are like almost 30 minutes into this. Let's talk about the fucking movies.
Yeah. So let's go to our compare and contrast segment. I'm like switching into German accent all the time this recording. I'm very sorry, listeners.
Wow.
So the first segment, we're going to cast and acting. We're starting with Leviathan. I'm gonna read off the top billings here. We got Peter Weller, the RoboCop himself, as Stephen Beck. Richard Crenna as Dr. Glenn Doc Thompson. Amanda Pace as Elizabeth Willie Williams. What a name. Daniel Stern, Boss Sixpack Parrish. Ernie Hudson as Justin Jones, another name that you're like, wow. Michael Carmine as Tony de Jesus Rodero, de Jesus, I guess.
That's just a fucking name for like your Central American character.
Yeah, they just have the one like a South or Central American guy. Like, yeah, he's de Jesus. This is a pretty good cast.
Yeah, it's for like a kind of B movie. The cast is surprisingly fucking very good. Peter Weller, always a delight. He plays a very stoic guy, but I think he plays it pretty decently. I really like Ronnie Hudson always, so I think he's very good. Always cracking jokes as his character, very funny in the movie.
Yeah. I think this is the first movie I saw where he didn't have a mustache.
Yeah, this is like pre-mustache, or like maybe he just got that off. I don't know.
Yeah, he just shaved it off for the role, I assume.
But anyway, he's very funny in this, and surprisingly, it only dies in the end, in the goofiest way possible. But I think the cast is very solid. Like it's very much playing to sort of fiction acting, but like it's solid. It's just very solid acting. the cast, it's very much just doing what it does. It reminds me a lot, like we talk about this in the script and everything, but like it reminds me a lot of Aliens. Like there's like a lot of a part of why I like this movie is like I saw 20 minutes of this is just the people goofing off and having poker games and stuff, which I always like in a movie or like any fiction. But it's just there's just seem to having fun and the acting is solid. Though. You already have any?
Yeah. The banter is very much 80s adventure horror movie, and it's good at that.
Yeah, I think everyone just does fits into the roles very nice into like this adventure roles and like the sport roles, and just does the work with this. Do you think there's anything to say about this in specific? Do you have a favorite thing? Do you have a thing?
Not really. I just thought it was good, and like, yeah, that's pretty good cast.
Apparently the lead creature counts as a thing. How do you rank the creature?
Oh, if the creature is an actor, I mean, I will talk about that in special effects.
Yeah, I will have yes. So, you can also say the actor for the creature.
Weren't there like multiple actors?
Tom Woodruff Jr. is listed as the lead creature. Who's also the same person for the Alien, actually? Like, worked on Alien 3.
So, but he's not in Alien 1, right? He's not a suit actor of that.
No. Actually did work on, like, Death's Become So and everything. But we'll talk about it in special effects. Let's go with Deep Star 6.
Okay. We have Taurine Black as Laidlaw, Nancy Everhart as Joyce Collins, Greg Evigan as McBride, Miguel Ferrer as Snyder, Nia Peoples as Scarpelli, and Matt McCoy as Richardson. The one y'all will recognize here is... Wait, where is he?
Miguel Ferrer.
Yeah, he's the guy from Twin Peaks.
He's actually RoboCop. He's also in RoboCop.
Like both of these movies have an actor from RoboCop in them.
Also, because I meant to just put this, both of these movies also have people from Rambo, because the director of Leviathan directed Rambo 2, and one of the special effects people I think worked on Rambo 1 or 2 or something like that. So there's also a Rambo connection. Anyway, the acting is...
And the special effects guy from Leviathan was on Ghoulies, so we have the podcast connection.
Also Gremlins. Yeah. The special... one of the people working Gremlins.
Okay. So yeah, this cast isn't as prolific, but I think they're doing all right.
I think it's like if I've seen a lot of B movies like this, a lot of adventure movies, and like with Leviathan, I think everyone's filtering the world. It's like this is mostly because the script they're much more like there's less jokes, there's less atmosphere. It's very much more straight. I think you even mentioned that the script needed to be a bit more self-aware or something like that.
It was very much old school Hollywood acting, you know, and also the script like kind of supported that.
Yeah. But like, I think it does what it does. The Fantastic Voyage, like this type of like 60s sci-fi where everyone's very serious and acting in this kind of very kind of bit wooden, but it works for the movie way. It's like it works. I don't really have a lot to say. Besides,
I think when Miguel Ferrer like loses it after he like nuked the ground, nuked the ocean. That was pretty good. Like that, it was interesting to see him play a role where he's like not as composed, where he's like losing his mind.
Yeah, I think Miguel Ferrer is always a delight. I think he's very good in at doing just losing it. Who's played like this? Who's this? The space trucker?
Oh, the space truckers. I think they're lower in the billing. I don't know who played the space truckers from the IMDb here. Sorry, but yeah, they're all right. They're pretty good.
They're very good. Also, somebody from here, from the cast, also was in the Hollywood in this theater production for Jesus Christ Superstar. Some more connections.
Oh wow!
But anyway,
we have so many twin movies connections.
Anyway, I think the acting is solid. I think everyone does it well. I think it's very dramatic, very melodramatic in a way that works. I think it's fairly solid.
Yeah, this is all right.
But yeah, let's move on then. Or anything more to say?
No, let's go to the plot
Yeah.
of Leviathan. This is the one where they find the sunken ship virus in the Soviet boat.
Yeah. It feels very like it feels very aliens like you have this crew of basically mercenaries by an evil corporation sent to retrieve a thing or get thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they don't even know that they're retrieving it, just like in Alien. So like the parallels in the plot are very obvious.
Like I think the plot, like it's very much that I really like the writer, but I don't think it's for the plot. Like I think the plot works as something to move from like point A to point B to point C, you know. But it's more about the
Yeah.
character interactions and the writing stuff like that, the scripts. But I think it works. I think as just working for that and copying aliens, like it understands the beats of aliens. I think even one of the writers worked on aliens or like Alien One or something. So
Yeah.
so it goes beat for beat in a way that works for me. Like the first 20 minutes are like goofing off, then goes to the serious thing that sets up builds off to the ending, which is pretty good. So like
Yeah, the escalation throughout is pretty all right, and the thing parts are also welded in well with the aliens parts.
like it's very good that just those scenes with like just the scenes in parts of the plot where it's just like going in a dark corner in the play thing the alien and just like slowly trying to figure out when the alien was so up and
Yeah, they understand the mechanisms that made like Alien work, and they replicate them very well.
I really but yeah I really like how it uses the plot. I think it's pretty solid. I think it's not the best plot ever, but I think as a mechanism to get to make the acting and the writing good, I think it works very well. I like it a lot. Do you have much to say about the plot, Ludo?
Uh, no, I think it's good. It's good when they show a bad company.
Yeah, my favorite song, Bad Company. My favorite Zozo stand.
Yeah,
Wait, he turns toy sodas into things. He's
like the
yeah,
Eminem song, "Toy Soldiers." Did you ever listen to that one?
no. And in the dub of the anime, he's got worse company. That's funny. That's very funny. Anyway, anyway, let's just. I was just want to say, I do think this is a very solid plot wise. It's doing a very generic plot, but just makes it work. Deep Star Six.
The plot is kind of like a blend of a catastrophe movie and like a throwback to B movie 50s, like Monster of the Week, sci-fi horror stuff. Not Monster of the Week, a creature feature.
Yeah.
And it succeeds pretty well at that. I think it's kind of wild how long it takes the monster to get in there, like into the base.
Yeah.
Like the last third has the monster, but like the tension in the first half is mostly like them going into the cave and the monster getting out,
It's
and the different building, like the separate building collapsing and them trying to rescue the people in there. So it's very much like a catastrophe movie in the first half.
it really reminds me of a lot of I know I mentioned it and you mentioned it in in the movie start, but it reminds me of a lot of Fantastic Voyeurs and stuff like that because those are like sci-fi movies are very slow in their pacing. So like the first half of Fantastic Voyeurs is like a spy thriller. They're setting up the crew to go inside the person's body, and then the rest
Yeah,
of the movie is that. So it feels very old in a positive way in how the pacing works of the movie. You understand?
yeah.
Because it slowly starts setting up the monster. Like this is also in a lot of old horror from the 30s, like a lot of Universal stuff. You set up the queue and the people and everything. Then you set up the moment where to reveal the monster, the last part of the movie of the monster. There's this kind of slow burn to it, and I think it's solid at doing that. Like it's a bit stoic, it's a bit self-serious, but I do think it's putting the mechanisms of like all the like American sci-fi plots and the slow sci-fi plots. It works pretty decently, I
yeah.
think.
I think they also rack up the tension really good. Like once Once the nuke gets shot out, the shit is basically constantly hitting the fan.
Yeah, because like there's the guy that just like kind of destroying the crew also, and like just like doing internal theater.
Yeah, escaping with the escape pods and everything.
And then it sets up this panic of like, well, no, there's this guy basically sabotaging the rest of the crew so he can escape, but there's also the master coming off. So once it starts going, it really starts going.
Yeah, there's like multiple things trying to kill them at the same time. It's pretty good.
It sets up this kind of paranoid feeling. I feel like it's also not the part of like using that old slow burn of 60s sci-fi and like this kind of like self-serious sci-fi does work because you set up a very slow burn at a base in the setting, and then you just spend this like actually put this entire plot of oh no, a lot of things are trying to kill the rest of the crew.
Yeah.
I think it's very solid.
Let's go to the teams. This is gonna be pretty short.
Yeah.
Leviathan, Corporation bad.
It's just doing the aliens thing, but aliens is like slightly more goes more hardfully at the like I feel like Alien also and aliens both understand more the evil companies, even if like still not the most like no one like not no one still not the most detailed like technical companies, but they do understand like the mechanisms of capitalism in a bit more than this because this is mostly just like there's an evil company. They'll do evil things, but like it works for the movie. It's not like some deep like takedown of capitalism. It's a subplot in a horror movie about the sea alien.
It's also more naive about it because at the end, Weller gets to punch the company woman in the face, and then it's over.
Not gonna lie, because
like the Alien doesn't end with like Ripley punching the Wayland Yutani CEO.
Like, it's interesting. I genuinely got thrown off by how optimistic the ending is, because what I thought the ending was going to be, because you know how the sharks were like in the ending, how sharks start showing up? I thought the ending was going to be the company just lets the people die to the sharks to cover up everything.
Yeah, I was just waiting for the other shoe to drop, for the helicopter to pass them by or to frigging start attacking them.
But no, it's just kind of there. It's just kind of, we saved the day.
Yeah, it's very optimistic at the ending for like having that kind of message. Deep Star 6, I wrote that I noticed no teams, but I guess the closest to a team there is like survival.
Before going to Deep Star 6, because there's so little things, do you count, because we talked about the Cold War stuff, is there like enough meat in the Biden for the Cold War stuff, or just like we regurgitating tropes?
Yeah, I guess you could add like Cold War anxiety or something to it. Mm-hmm. Even though, like, as you see, like the Soviet ship is only a wreckage, but the real danger is the company. Mm-hmm. Like the Soviets, they never intervene. There's not a secret Soviet agent that shows up or something. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. And yeah, with Deep Star 6, it's really just they're trying to survive, and that's the story.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's very like even Fantastic Boys and stuff like that has much more teams than this, but it's just kind of very nothing in terms of the teams. This is fine because it's not trying to be like smart at all.
Yeah, it doesn't have to say anything. It's basically just entertainment.
It's directed by the guy that did the first Friday the 13th movie. I don't expect like deep thoughts on that.
Yeah.
Okay, let's move on.
Let's go to cultural relevance for Leviathan.
Leviathan is like seems to somewhat got the fandom. Wait, just confirming. We still didn't do cinematography, special effects, music.
Cinematography, soundtrack, special effects.
We still haven't done that. But that's for the end, right?
Yeah.
Okay, let's go. But yeah, Leviathan seems to have gotten a fandom, like a cult fan base recently, and like I get why. I think it's very much if you like that, and just because it's very like well thought, well written, even well directed. I think there's a lot to like, specifically if you like aliens. And in that part, it's got like Blu-ray releases from like Scream Factory, which is like the whole label of like the TV and like some publisher Sound Factory. It's like I do think it got like a bit of lasting impact. It's like if you like aliens and stuff like that, and like the thing and like alcohol like this, you will like the Leviathan probably, and just like there's things to grab from it. Like
Yeah.
it's probably not gonna get. It's not the most popular thing, but like you probably people see this and like still like see like some of the Blu-ray releases, like some like see it on like a pirate site and go, that seems interesting. Let me watch it and like have a good time. Like I can say the same thing with Deep Star 6. There's like I would say like people who like horror and genre stuff will probably remember them. Though from what I've seen from other people like other as I am that like that stuff, Deep Star 6 is mostly apparently a lot of people think of it as just it has a cool poster and it's a bad movie. But like I think even people, I think there's a lot of people that probably would like it still.
Yeah, I think these are the two most like low-rated movies reviewed here so far.
But even that, I do think there's gonna be people who will enjoy this stuff and somewhat remember, specifically if you're like a big horror head or sci-fi head or etc. etc. There's like it's gonna always have a bit of a fan base, so it's just curiosity. The way a lot of like.
Yeah.
Yeah, are you gonna say something, Ludo?
Yeah, I thought you were finished talking. Sorry.
I finished.
Okay. I think it's also gonna be remembered for the like Stan Winston's effects work, because like it has the Thing guy doing the things.
Same.
And like I think people will seek his work out, and also it has like a couple popular actors, and that also helps it for people who like want to watch every movie of like a certain actor.
Yeah, if you only watch all the Miguel Ferreira movies or Peter Weller movies or like Ronnie Hudson movies.
Yeah, then you will automatically also check this out.
Yeah. So yeah. Okay, let's go move on.
So with Deep Star 6, I'm really unsure if anybody will like remember this or if there will like be a new Deep Star 6 a reboot. I don't think so. It has one famous actor. It's not very well known. I think Leviathan has also the more known director, right?
Yeah, because it says so Speak of Stars, so it's like 1 but 2 and a bunch of other things.
Yeah, I will remember Deep Star 6 for being filmed in Italy. That's my memory.
Yeah. It was actually a very fun fact before letting you speak, but it was produced by Dino De Laurentiis. You know, the who did like a bunch of like sauce for Italian sauce, about of shit like that.
Yeah. I guess he already had those Italian connections.
So it's very much made by also own the football club because it's the old Italian shady business person. So yeah, it's has that pedigree.
Nice. Okay, let's go to another segment where I had no idea what to write. Cinematography. Both of these movies, it's okay, you know.
Yeah, the Leviathan's trying to be more small aliens. You got that you know, like that. How do I explain like the
claustrophobic?
Yeah, that claustrophobic look with the camera always there, specifically in like dark scenes. Like I mentioned, the scene where like there's just like going to the darker parts of the ship, and so it's just like they give a lot of claustrophobia, like mood and atmosphere, and also a lot of like. How do I explain like you know like those like the contrast between lights?
Contrast. Yeah.
Like the contrast between like the slightly Aliens does this. Alien One actually does this. The contrast between like the brighter lights and like slightly
creating some like hard shadows and stuff like that.
Which creates this kind of very interesting look for the movie, which I think it does the benefit. I think it's well shot.
Yeah, it looks good. I think most of what makes Leviathan look better is actually like the set design. The set design in Leviathan is like my favorite part of the movie. Mm-hmm. Like, I like it. I like it very much. It's very alien. It's like everything looks used and kind of sci-fi-ish, but also like grounded. It's a very nice look. And I think that makes the camera work, of course, also like the movie looks better through that. But it's not because of the camera. And I think with Deep Star 6, I guess it's impressive what they do with like water on the stages, where they like flood certain sections of the stage and then film. I must assume that was like very challenging.
Yeah. It's impressive we saw it in certain parts. About movies.
Yeah.
I think very good cinematography to start them. That's what to say.
Yeah, they're both. They have the kind of cinematography you would want in this kind of movie. Like, you don't want it to get like too fancy in a way.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go to the last two segments. First, soundtrack of Leviathan. I barely remember it.
It's fine, I guess. It is.
Yeah, it's very much a movie soundtrack. I think there wasn't anything too special.
Deep Star 6 is interesting because it's by Zeddy Goldsmith, very known composer of Planet of the Apes, a lot of Star Trek shows, and a bunch of other stuff. It's a bit more. Zeddy Goldsmith is somebody that I find interesting because he has very much an inspiration of like old like sci-fi and pulp soundtracks. You know, the free stuff like we just watched Planet of the Apes. The soundtrack is played by like a lot of like. Even for 60 movies, it sounds a bit like the 50s, you know?
Yeah.
So, the soundtrack feels very trying to get that pulp sci-fi feeling, also like that Fantastic Boys and stuff.
Yeah, that's definitely what I felt too. It was very good in that department. It really gave you that old school horror blaring horns. Ba, 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 ba. Like, almost like a Godzilla thing.
Yeah.
That's very nice.
It's very bombastic, but like it's both are decent.
Yeah.
Okay, special effects, new category for today. So Leviathan, I think it's worth saying this. Leviathan was by the special effects in Leviathan was by Stanley Winston. Winston a lot of worked on like the first two Jurassic Parks, Terminator, Aliens, of course. The Inspector Gadget movie, Iron Man. And
yeah, he even had a few credits posthumously.
Yeah,
because he probably worked on stuff in pre-production.
And the special effects in Deep Star 6 was by Christopher Wallace. It did like The Fly, Gremlins, stuff like that. So two very important like special effect giants. And you can see.
It's very cool what you can see in that movie.
Both masters also look slightly different. It don't even look like the alien, to be honest. Like there's some elements of Deep Star 6 master that look like the alien, but like it's still like its own thing. Slightly more amphibian.
Yeah, let's finish up with Leviathan first.
No, I was talking about Leviathan.
I think it looks like half the thing, and half like underwater sea fish. And I think that's the kind of what they wanted to do.
Yeah, because it's got like that. It has elements of like the like kind of sass-busting things. It has things like the thing where it affects people, of course. But also it has kind of the more fiercey, like aquatic feeling, which I really like.
It has like fins and a detachable jaw, like those deep sea fish.
It looks very fucking cool. It looks really cool. I like it a lot.
Yeah, I think it's a cool monster design. It's nice what they did with like the humans fusing together.
Yeah, it feels like very much like combining that idea like the A and the thing, of course, not the things, and like just combine like this underwater monster taking over people. It's really cool.
Just at the end, when you see it in bright daylight, it looks kind of silly.
Yeah. It looks very silly.
When it shows up at the end, it's they never should have shown it in the daylight, I think.
You know what else looks silly? The sharks. The fucking sharks.
Yeah, you see sharks for like 10 seconds in this movie, and it's I don't even know if it's just stock footage or like a shadow.
No, it's real sharks. They did a war thing. They set out the sharks. I'm sorry.
Yeah, they just did raw on the sea. Not Roar. Yeah.
Anyway, but yeah, it looks very good. Very good effects. The Deep Star 6 Master feels a bit more old school also. You know?
Yeah.
A bit more like, this is kind of like this is like the creature from below and stuff like that. Which very much fits the movie's theme. It's also very good looking. It doesn't show up as much because it shows up in like the last half of the movie, but like what is there is actually very effective in using, I imagine, very like few bars that they had to just like have a cool looking monster.
It's like very much designed to look prehistoric because they basically like unleash it from under the earth.
Which is very interesting. It kind of reminds me of like a Kaiju movie actually. Like you just
it is kind of like a kaiju, a small kaiju.
Because so many kaiju, like of course because of the history with the nuclear bomb, like Godzilla was the result of the bomb and stuff like that. So like, it's very interesting, even if this is not doing commentary at all. It's just a cool looking monster unless by somebody fucking looking the ocean.
Yeah. Also, there's some cool gore effects when like that one guy in the suit gets bitten in half.
Yeah, it looks very nice. I like it.
Yeah, so both of these, like, they do the thing that you should have in a creature feature from that era, which is have great effects.
Yeah, and just because I confused this, I just want to clarify. The composer of Leviathan was Jerry Goldsmith. The actual composer of Deep Star 6 was Harry Maffadini, who is a soloist who worked on like the Friday the 13th series.
Okay,
but anyway. Yeah, what movies are good?
Watch these movies if you like underwater horror.
I like underwater horror. I like seeing the sea. It's not a lot to say this episode because like just very enjoyable movies. Watch them. They're likable. Sometimes you just want a good movie. It's good. If you just want to see some known character actors, just some known actors goofing off a little bit and just doing a deep sea horror movie that's kind of atmospheric, watch the bite, and then ask if you want a sci-fi throwback, watch Deep Star 6. Very easy. Good movies. Okay.
Well said.
Before we end the episode, we do a thing where we pick the movies we're going to cover by a random number generator from a list we have from the Wikipedia Gemini movie list. Let me go. And number 9. What's number 9? Please, let me see what's number 9.
Sign of the Pagan and Attila.
Oh, fucking.
They're epic. How is this genre called again? Monumental.
Historical?
Yeah, but like these are like Cleopatra and that stuff.
Isn't it just historical epics and stuff like that?
Yeah, historical epics. So we're gonna talk about 2 historical epics. I think they're both about Attila.
Finally, Attila the Hunter. Let's go.
See y'all next time.
Yeah, let's see ya.